Hello guys, welcome to Neet. So today we'll be studying breathing and respiration, class 11 Neet topic, chapter 17. The process of exchange of oxygen from atmosphere with carbon dioxide produced by the cell is called breathing, commonly also called as respiration, as you know. So the carbon dioxide which comes from the breathing, from the cells is coming from catabolic reactions, and oxygen is coming from atmosphere. So respiratory organs, simple diffusion. Simple diffusion is used in coelenterate, sponges and flatworms. Sponges in the seas, coelenterate, flatworms, yeah. So moist cuticle is used in earthworms. Moist cuticle is when the skin is moist, it is wet and slippery. So mucus is secreted on the skin to keep it moist. So as we know, earthworm, it is very slippery. So there is a gland which secretes mucus to keep the skin moist. If the skin is not moist, the earthworm will die because it will not be able to respire. Tracheal tubes is used in insects. Gills is a special vascularized structure in aquatic arthropods and mollusks. And breathing or respiration by gills is called branchial respiration. Lungs is special vascularized bags. Terrestrial forms, animals, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, many more use lungs. Mammals, humans, reptiles is like crocodile and stuff. So the breathing or the respiration by lungs is called pulmonary respiration. One point to note is that spiders and arachnids use book lungs for respiration. Respiration by moist skin is called cutaneous respiration. It is used by frogs, amphibians. Human respiratory system. So the passage of air from nostrils to nasal chamber to pharynx to larynx to trachea to primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, terminal bronchiole, alveoli. So nostrils is your nose, the two openings of your nose. Nasal chamber is the space between your nostrils and the pharynx. Pharynx is a common passage for food and air. Larynx is sound box or Adam's apple. Larynx is covered by epiglottis, which prevents the entry of food into larynx. Larynx is then transferred into the air is transferred into trachea. Trachea is the windpipe. It has cartilaginous C-shaped cells. Cartilage is in C-shape, not cells. Sorry. Primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi. All these three are parts of bronchi. Bronchiole. Then the bronchi turns into terminal bronchiole. So the nostrils to terminal bronchiole is the conducting path, and the alveoli and its ducts are the respiratory or the exchange part. The conducting part functions to humidify the air. The conducting part functions to warm the air to the body temperature, and it conducts air obviously. So warming of air, like for example, when you breathe, the air you take in is quite low in temperature wise, but the air which you breathe out is always like at your body temperature 37 degrees Celsius. Alveoli and the ducts, respiratory or the exchange part, here oxygen is taken in by the body and the carbon dioxide produced by catabolic reactions is given out. Larynx is the cartilaginous box which helps in sound production. Epiglottis is covered by Epiglottis covers the glottis, which prevent the entry of food in the larynx. This is what I told you. And here diffusion occurs. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are taken in by diffusion. Carbon dioxide is given out. We have two lungs. So basically we have two lungs that we all know, obviously. The two lungs are covered by a double layered protective layer called pleura. The pleura is of two pleura has total three parts, which is the pleural fluid, outer pleura and the inner pleura. So the outer pleura is in contact with the thoracic unit, the part of the upper part of the body. Inner pleura is covered in close contact with lungs, and the trachea, which is the windpipe, it is a straight tube extending up to the fifth thoracic vertebrae. Human respiratory system. The lungs are the chamber. Lungs are airtight, as we know, obviously. The thoracic chamber is formed dorsally by the vertebral column. So the dorsally, it is by the vertebral column. The vertebral column is a backbone, what we say. Ventrally by the sternum. Ventrally, the sternum is the flat bone which you can feel by pressing in between your chest. Laterally by the ribs. Below your armpits, if you press, you will feel the ribs, and lower side by the dome-shaped diaphragm. Diaphragm helps in breathing. We will see it later on. These are the steps for respiration, breathing or pulmonary ventilation, by which atmospheric air is drawn and CO2 rich alveolar air is drawn out. Transport of gases in blood takes place. Diffusion occurs. Diffusion of O2 and CO2 between blood, and use of O2 by the cells for catabolic reactions and resultant release CO2. That's what I told you in the beginning. Mechanism of breathing. Breathing is of two parts: inspiration and expiration. Average human being breathes 12 to 16 times a day, or a minute, sorry. 6,000 to 8,000 ml of air in a minute. Inspiration, air is taken in, and which is the atmospheric air is taken in, and expiration is when alveolar air is given out. Diaphragm and intercostal muscles help in the generation of pressure gradients. The pressure gradients help in breathing. So if inspiration takes place when the atmospheric pressure is greater than the pressure inside the lungs, so the diaphragm will contract and the external intercostal muscles will take the ribs upwards. Try breathing once, you'll see that the ribs go up and the diaphragm, so here the diaphragm will contract, which increases the volume. Expiration, the pressure of lungs is greater than pressure of atmosphere. Here diaphragm relaxes, so the volume decreases and the pressure increases. The external intercostal muscles also come to take the ribs to their original position, which also reduces the volume. Pressure inside the is less. Diaphragm contracts, which increases thoracic volume. If the volume increases, the pressure will decrease. Okay. Expiration, diaphragm relaxes, the volume decreases, hence the pressure increases. Respiratory volumes. So this is a part from where Neet has a lot of these questions. Tidal volume, TV, It is represented at TV, which is 500 ml. It is the air inspired or expired in a normally, like if you take in air, so normally you'll inspire only 500 ml of air once, only inspire. Okay, inspire and expire both. If you do, then it's 1000 ml. Obviously, in one breathing is 1000 ml. This inspiratory reserve volume IRV, which is 2500 to 3000 ml. It is the additional air inspired by forced inspiration. After normal inspiration, if you try breathing more air, the more air which you breathe, which is the additional air, is around 2500 to 3000 ml, 3 liters. You can say that. Expiratory reserve volume, which is 1000 to 1100 ml. The additional volume of air expired by forceful expiration. After the normal expiration, when you try hard, there is that forceful expiration takes place, which is around 1 liter to 1.1 liter. Residual volume is the volume of air remaining after forceful expiration. So the total air is never gone out. If the pressure of the lung is the if the pressure of the lung is zero, so the lungs will be crushed. There should be a little amount of volume in the lungs. So the residual volume is around 1.1 liter to 1.2 liters.